mile. And I'm going to introduce somebody who, is one of the more dedicated people I've ever met. He puts the company first. This last year, he relocated his entire family. They went through a lot of challenges, and he was there for Isagenix, but also for his family. And just what I would consider to be the consummate business professional. And I have the utmost respect. I've learned so much from this individual. So please help me in welcoming our President of Latin America, Mr. Alex Hoffmann. Hey, I want to just Before I let Alex get started, could everybody just take a seat real quick? Hey, Laura, the Hoffmann family, if you guys could stand up. Where's Laura and family? Okay. Alex has his family here, and I want to give them special recognition for everything they've done. If you don't know, they have a house in Chandler or in the Gilbert area, and they've relocated. They've put their whole lives on hold to really take that extra effort in, and that's been a tremendous thing. So let's hear it for Alex's family as well.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks. You bet.
Buenos días. How's everybody doing today? Good, good. How many of you love Mexico? How many of you have been to Mexico on vacation or? Yeah, a lot of people. What about Mexican food? Woo-hoo. What about Mexican people? Yes, great. Well, I just want to give you a brief update on, what was that?
You don't want to know.
Mexican water. No, don't ask about that. That's not a good question. What about tequila? Okay. I'm going to stop asking questions about Mexico and talk a little bit about Mexican update. We launched over a year ago, and Mexico's been a very successful market. And as Kevin mentioned before, opening an international market is not that easy. We worked to open Mexico for over a year and a half in order to have a successful launch. And in a little over a year, we already have over 15,000 associates. We have done over $5 million in sales. We have over 2,400 consultants and 136 executives. And we recently opened a very nice office, corporate office in Mexico City. We just featured that into the Isagenix. How many of you have seen the latest Isagenix magazine? You like that? Great magazine. There's a full article there on the Mexico office, which was a very nice house that we found and remodeled. And that's where we have our Mexico offices in Mexico City. And some of the other updates that we have done for Mexico, we launched Mexico with only 8 products, only the products that we have on the 30-day systems. And in only a year, we have doubled the products. Now we have 16 products in Mexico. And next week, we're going to have our kickoff meeting. We're going to be launching 2 new products, ageless actives and cleanse powder. Please don't tell anybody in Mexico because this is a surprise for them. But you get to know first. We're going to have 2 new products for them next week. And in only a year, we have doubled the amount of products that we have in Mexico. So this is a great opportunity for you and everybody in Mexico as well. As I mentioned before, next week, January 13th and 14th, we're going to have our kickoff meeting. Jim and Kathy Cooper are going to be there. We're going to have new product launches. We're going to have new incentives. We're going to have new programs, new promotions, a lot of recognitions, and lots of surprises. So you're welcome to come to our event and invite everybody there. Where do you get all of this information? The communication team in Nuskin have done a great job in putting all the communication out there. So the best place to get all your information is isafyi.com. There's a Mexican flag up there where you can click the flag and then you'll go straight to the Mexican side, or you can type mx.isafyi.com and you get to the same side. That side is in Spanish, but if you click here, you can switch to, let me go back to English. And so the site is in Spanish or English. In the last couple of days, I've been talking to many of you, and everybody's been asking me, how do you build in Mexico? How do you do things in Mexico? Why is Mexico different than building in the US or building in Canada? Well, let me tell you that the first thing is that the economics is different. An average person in Mexico makes a third of what a person in the US makes. Only 20% of the population in Mexico have a credit card, so those two things are very, very important and make a huge difference on how you build a business in Mexico. The other thing is the cultural thing. So when people ask me, how do you go and how you build in Mexico, I say you don't go and you don't have to go to Mexico to build a Mexican business. Why is that? Because here in the US, there's 45 Hispanics. Most of them, 80% or 40 million, are from Mexico. So I bet you know somebody in your neighborhood or in your place or in your church that is from Mexico, that have family in Mexico. I'm an immigrant myself. I left my native country, Venezuela, back in '99, 13 years ago, to come here to the US. And what I was looking for was a better life, a better job, a better economical situation. So most of the Mexicans that come here to the US are looking for that freedom, for that economical situation to get better. And that's what our business offers, a better economical situation, a financial freedom. So you have a lot of Mexican people that you can offer the business. And what we're seeing in Mexico is that people join the company because of the business, before the product. Here in the US, it's completely the opposite. 80% of the people join the company because of the product, and then they do the business. In Mexico, it's completely the opposite. And so if you have Mexican immigrants and people that come here to work, to then send money back to their family, offer them the business opportunity, offer them that they can have a better life, that they can have a better economic environment here, and also they can take it down to Mexico. Do you know what's the first source of income in Mexico? Where do they get the money? From the US. The first source of income in Mexico is not tourism, it's not oil. It's money transferred from the US. That's the first source of income in Mexico. And the second is oil, and the third is tourism. That tells you a lot about what's going on with the economics there. So those 45 or 40 million Mexicans that are here in the US working and send money down to Mexico, that's the people you have to look for. That's the people that's going to also take, not only send money to their family, but also send the business down to their family. So in the last 2 days, I've been talking to a lot of you. A lot of people is coming and asking me. I've been trying to recruit people in Mexico. I've been trying to build my business in Mexico. How do I do it? And so that's a big hint. You don't have to go to Mexico to build a business in Mexico. There's 40 million Mexicans here in the US. Start talking to them. Start offering them a business opportunity that then they can take down to their families in Mexico. And then you're going to have a big leg and a big group in Mexico. Do you agree with that? You like that idea? Good, good. Now you want to talk a little bit south the border of Mexico? Yes? No? Okay, let's talk a little bit about Latin America. Latin America, it's huge. Latin America, when we talk about Latin America, is double than the US and Canada altogether. It's over 600 million people. It's about 30 countries, 20 countries and 10 dependencies. It's the second largest region for the Direct Selling Association. Actually, for Mexico is the largest country for two of the biggest companies in the Direct Selling Association, Herbalife and Avon. The largest country is Mexico, and sales is even larger than the US. So you can imagine how big the opportunity is in Latin America. The big problem with Latin America is that each of these countries, even though they speak the same language, they're different. There are differences in culture, there are differences in economics, there are differences in political environment. So it's not as easy as going and doing a business opportunity in Vegas or in Washington to go and open a country in Latin America. It takes a lot of challenges. It takes a lot of work to get and open a country the right way. And like Kevin said, we're not a company that go and open a country and then get out of the country because it didn't work, like 90% of the companies out there. Isagenix has been doing business for 10 years, but it's very solid. In every country that we go in, we stay there and we grow the business. So we're looking into continue our growth into Latin America. We're not going to open any country this year because we're completely focused on growing the business in Mexico. But we're working in opening 2 more countries in Latin America in the next 2 years. We cannot disclose what countries those are, but we're working really hard. We don't open a country overnight. We start working today, so next year when we open the country, we're very solid, we're very stable. We're very glad to tell you that in Mexico, most of the distributors come to me and tell me, Alex, we're very grateful that in Mexico, we don't lack of any products. We get our commissions paid every day. We have a good customer service, and we have all the things that we need to build a strong business. And I tell all the time, all those 4 components took us over 1.5 years to set it up right so you can build a good business. So that's what we're working on right now. We're very excited about the future opportunities that we have with Latin America. We know that, as Kevin mentioned before, international is going to start playing a big role into having this company become a $1 billion company. So thank you very much for all your help, and welcome to Latin America.